Let's talk about the Alejandro Garnacho Conundrum. When talent meets turmoil. Just want to welcome you all to this channel, to United Talks podcast. Thank you for following us and building, a community together and growing as a family and hitting our milestones and reaching, great heights and all of that. Thank you so much for, following through the journey from when we all started to where we are right now, and how we've been growing together and building community together and all of that. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. We have continued to grow. We have continued to evolve. We've continued to build community together and all of that. So we've set another milestone and we're reaching that milestone. We're aiming to reach that milestone pretty soon. I think at least before the Premier League season starts. But then, we're talking about a topic that's been bubbling under the surface for a while now, like a really long while now. And after our recent Europa League final heartbreak, it has finally boiled over. The situation where let's take, for example, maybe a workplace. You've been doing stuff and probably been, caught napping a couple times. And then eventually the leadership just eventually say, you know what, that's done, right? That's like, you're over, you're gone, and then you get fired or something. It's pretty much same. We're talking about Alejandro Garnacho. And now let's be very clear, basically. I love that talent. I love the talent. I mean, he's giving us memories. I remember the FA Cup final, watched him, raw talent, straightforward. We knew this guy was made for the first team, in 2022. And then basically won against Leicester City, came into the first team, started to play well, started mimicking Cristiano Ronaldo in all things and his actions that he does and all of that, celebrations and everything. One game I remember specifically, I know everybody remembers like those, interesting goals like the Everton overhead kick and all those other games and the goal against Man City. But the one that I remember correctly and remember that gave me a good memory is the game uniquely. The game against Fulham, I think it was 1-1, and then Garnacho came in as a sub, and he made that run into the box and poked it to the bottom right corner of the post with his left foot, and we scored a goal. I mean, another interesting goal again against Newcastle in the Premier League last season, where it felt like, Garnacho hadn't scored in a couple of games, over 13 or 14 games, and then he came on and they just poked the ball at the bottom left of the net, right, where the Newcastle defenders never expected it, but I think it was the only goal scored in that game. But, his attitude cannot go without mentioning, right? He has raw talent, obviously, but if we were to, talk about players who broke into limelight, like Lamine Yamal, you could tell he has a little bit of panache and a little bit of arrogance to back with the way he plays and all of that. He believes himself, he backs himself, and he's won trophies to back that, to show that. But Alejandro Garnacho is a totally different kettle of fish, right? He backs himself to win. I mean, he's won 2 trophies already with Man United and won the FA Cup, so count as three trophies. But then, obviously, he's not backing his words, right? He's not backing whatever he's saying. And his actions off the pitch as well are not good enough for a player who's supposed to be a team player, right? Now, the moment of brilliance he brings is also, cannot go without mentioning, right? But folks, it's time for some really tough love, right? Because if there's one thing that's becoming painfully clear, is that Alejandro Garnacho, with his actions off the pitch, is doing himself no favors. And there's so many to remember, but we're going to deal with like the recent ones. We've just suffered a gut-wrenching defeat in Europa League Final against Tottenham, and in the aftermath of that, what do we hear? Garnacho in an interview openly blaming the manager for his game time. That is really heartbreaking. And if that wasn't enough, his own brother is out there on social media amplifying negativity, claiming Garnacho was thrown under the bus, and that this isn't, he's stating basically that Garnacho was thrown under the bus. I mean, there was a saga or like a rumor and some situations that went on last year with who was the dressing room leak and all of that, and some people were exonerating themselves. Alejandro Garnacho's brother was in the middle of that, and running some United pages on X or Twitter, as the case may be, and all of that. This isn't just a misstep, it's a pattern. It's starting to wear thin on the majority of us, I mean, myself included, as a Man United fan. Basically, let's rewind and, break down some of the things, shall we? Let's look at the timeline of events that has led us to this point, and this isn't just an isolated event, but and it's not an isolated event by a long shot at all. Now, let's break it down. Let's go back to the most recent, last year, April 2024, Garnacho under Erik Ten Hag. Basically, there are so many other events before that, but let's go to 2024 April. Garnacho under Erik Ten Hag's management he liked two of Margot Bridges' posts on X, formerly, as Twitter as the case may be. These were open criticisms of Ten Hag after he was substituted at halftime against Bournemouth. Ten Hag himself confirmed the apology, stating that he apologized for it, and after that we move on. A young player, perhaps a lapse in judgment. We all thought. It was a learning curve for him and all of that, but it is what it is. Everybody had to just, move on from it. Leave Garnacho alone, back him, and all of that, and everything in between. But then, if we fast forward to September 2024, few months after, right, the pattern begins to emerge immediately after a game within 20-30 minutes. Garnacho liked a Fabrizio Romano Instagram post featuring Cristiano Ronaldo criticizing Ten Hag, who was still on manager at the time. This wasn't a mistake. Basically, this was a conscious action reflecting on a clear lack of understanding or respect for the hierarchy of the team unity, right? There's so many other situations where Garnacho must have done some things, and obviously everybody was like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Now, in November 11, 2024, Ruben Amorim is officially the Manchester United new head coach. A fresh start, a new era, a chance for every player to impress. And then, obviously, everybody expected that, Garnacho would be out the squad and all that. But Amarim came in. I remember those training videos. Amarim came in and took the opportunity to kind of help Garnacho, kind of evolve into the team. Now, if we look at it from that perspective, you could tell that, okay, for someone like, I was impressed by Garnacho and how he evolved this game to fit into one of the inside forwards or inside 10, and then you play out wide. I remember talking about it in several of our videos, remember the match previews and all of that. And then a player who plays similarly or even better, Marcus Rashford, didn't make the squad because obviously he did fit into Amarim's plan, and you must have seen some video posted in YouTube Shorts and all of our social media platforms where we stated that obviously Amarim wanted a certain type of player in his squad, and Marcus Rashford isn't that kind of player. So, now, December 2024, barely a month into Amarim's tenure, here we go again. Basically, Garnacho liked another post, this time criticizing Lisandro Martinez, his current club and international teammate. This is no longer just about the manager, it's about throwing teammates under the bus and undermining the squad. Then, if we are to go further to December 2024, again, later in the month, that same month, this was where it really escalates. Garnacho was reportedly left out of the squad for a crucial Manchester City game, and the reason why? Actions off the pitch, especially allegations of leaking information, as I mentioned earlier. While Manchester United sources reportedly dismissed claims that Garnacho or his brother were directly responsible for the leaks, the mere suggestion that and his subsequent omission from the squad highlights a significant issue, basically. Right? Now, interestingly, Amarim acknowledged the prevalence of leaks, stating that I know the story. So Amarim sees what is going on, and I remember bringing this in one of the press conference reviews or stuff, if you can remember. I think that it is impossible to fix because you have a lot of people in the club and the players talk with agents. So you can talk with friends, and it's hard to know. It's not a good thing. And this is what Amarim said that press conference. I remember correctly. I remember because I posted the press conference clip, and the fact that Garnacho decided to leave X at the beginning of January certainly, raised eyebrows, for Man United fans. But then fast forward to May 2025, and there we are, reeling from the Europa League final defeat to Tottenham. And the interesting thing about this is all other Manchester United fans, all other Manchester United players, all other Manchester United fans were angry and sad. All other Manchester United players were apologizing to the fans. Ruben Amorim was apologizing to the fans. I remember Luke Shaw specifically apologizing to the fans and all of that. The wounds are still fresh. The disappointment is still palpable, right? And then we have Garnacho's post-match interviews where he reportedly said, up until the final, I played every round helping a team. And today I played only 20 minutes. I don't know. The final will influence my decision, but the whole season, the situation of the club, I'm going to try and enjoy my summer and what happened, and we'll see what happens afterwards. Let's also not forget that he also mentioned that we've had a crap season. In his words, we've had a crap season. We didn't win any team in the Premier League. These were his words, directly translated, right? But he said also that he would try to enjoy his summer, and then we will see afterwards, right? And then his brother, Roberto Garnacho, on Instagram posted, working as no one else, helping every round, coming from 2 goals in the last 2 finals, just to be on the pitch for 19 minutes and get thrown under the bus. I mean, this is not just ridiculous, but this is disrespectful for a club that's just reeling from defeat and all of that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Nobody's going to blame him. But the truth is, the people around him are fueling his arsenal with basically words and stuff that he puts out there and says to the media. And the truth is, at that point in time, that's not what Man United fans needed to hear from a player who is supposed to be the world beater, right? This is not just the time for players to publicly air grievances, especially, when the manager, Ruben Amorim, has only been here a few months, I think 6 months or so. Now, our results haven't been a stellar one under Ruben Amorim so far, but his win rate sits at 39% in the league. And we finished 16th, or we finished 15th rather. We finished 15th. And the last thing a new manager needs is this kind of internal drama. Players should be 100% focused on their jobs or on improving and on uniting for the common goal. Players like Ahmad put their head down, work hard. Players like Mason Mount, albeit injury-plagued season, put his head down, work hard. Bruno Fernandes put their head down, work hard, lead the team from the front. Rasmus Højlund having a horrible season, scoring 4 goals in the Premier League, puts his head down, works hard, presses and everything. After the game, he comes, apologizes to the fan, and then this one comes up and says what he says. Now, we support the players, we back the players, we're not trying to bash any player or anything, but this is just kind of like a way to highlight that there's a consistent theme and a pattern with the problems that Garnacho has, in front of him. I'll always try to remain positive. I'll always try to support the players through thick and thin and all of that. But at that point in time, we needed a player to show a certain level of maturity. But there comes a point when fans, when as fans we need to kind of stop overhyping and massaging these players' egos. We need to start holding them accountable, and not just for their performances on the pitch, but also for their actions off it. Basically, this isn't just about Garnacho's talent. It's about his attitude, his professional conduct, and his constant public undermining of the club and its management. And the truth is, he thinks he's there yet, but he isn't there yet. He isn't there yet. He hasn't even gotten to where he's supposed to be. He hasn't even fully hit his full potential, right? Now, if this rebuild needs to start somewhere, it clearly does, basically. It clearly does. It needs to start by fostering a culture of accountability and professionalism. And we could see when Ruben Amorim said something after one of the games where he said, I think after the Tottenham game, where he said that Garnacho had better find hope that another club, or he finds a new club, or hope that another club signs him. Right? There's a whole lot. There is a whole lot, right? And we need to hold them accountable, based on, their professionalism and how they carry themselves, because this is Manchester United. This is Manchester United. And if this means getting rid of players who repeatedly demonstrate the kind of petty attitude, then I, for one, fully back Ruben Amorim, for any decision on any departure, including Alejandro Garnacho. No matter how much impact is made in the squad, how much impact is made in the team, I for one, will back any departure whatsoever. Because the truth is, Garnacho leaving won't change our style of play. It won't change the way we play. Another player would definitely replace him, or we would even evolve our style of play. Right, so that's the thing. It's really, really, really tough. It is tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially for a player with such potential. But potential means nothing without the right mindset and the willingness to be a team player. We have seen too many talents go to waste because of toxic attitudes and stuff. But let's hope, for Garnacho's sake, and more importantly, for Manchester United's sake, that this serves as a wake-up call, right? This serves as a wake-up call. There's a whole lot going on. And we're signing players. We're signing Cunha. We're on the verge of signing Brian Mbeumo. So we won't even have to worry about Garnacho playing as one of the two tens. They definitely kind of replaced him already in the squad. We just need to use him to get pure profit, sell him, get pure profit, and move on. We love Garnacho. I love Garnacho for one, but the truth is we have to just let it go, because even Sir Jim Ratcliffe said something in an interview in the BBC when he was asked about Marcus Rashford and why he backed Ruben Amorim for letting Marcus Rashford go to Aston Villa on loan and all of that. And he said yes, Ruben Amorim wanted specific players who can foster like the winning mentality and the winning culture in the squad, and that's why I had to let him. And then Sir Jim Ratcliffe backed him, But that's all for today's episode. Let's not, go deep down into other topics that we cannot, talk about in this episode. Just wanted to make it quick and short and all of that. But that's it for today's episode. But thank you for watching, and thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for following us through United Talks podcast. But let's know your thoughts in the comment section or on social media. Just basically hit us on our social media platforms. Do you agree that Garnacho has done this to himself? Is it time for him to move on, basically? Obviously, Fabrizio Romano has come out to say that the relationship between Garnacho and Man United is over, is done, and he's moving on. But we want to hear from you, basically, what your thoughts are on this whole Garnacho conundrum. Everybody's putting out videos online stating how Garnacho has been of great importance to the team and all of that, and the goals he scored and all that. But let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. What do you think about this whole Garnacho situation? What do you think should be done? Do you think that he should be welcomed back in the squad, or Man United should let him go and make money and use him to bolster the squad in the midfield era specifically, right? But until next time, let's stay red, let's stay united, let's back our manager, let's back our team, and build a cohesive team with a great culture and attitude and professionalism, without having to have players who are divided on different opinions and disrespecting the club and the manager, because no one is bigger than the club or the team. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and helping us reach our milestone. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye, and God bless you.